Hey everybody, I want to welcome you to the RE Math Masters Masterclass. Uh, and why you should listen to me. Um, well, I'm Waukesha. I'm the founder of RE Math is Easy, where I teach you the math principles on the real estate exam and empower you to speak into existence what you want to see on the exam. I started RE Math is Easy back in 2022. Uh, back when, yeah, about 2.5 years ago, I saw a problem that a lot of aspiring real estate agents weren't passing the real estate exam because of the math. And I decided to help. I came up with a video, put it in a exam group, and when I put that video in an exam group, four people passed the exam. And I was like, wow, this works. So, and then 10 days later, on February the 10th, I started Real Estate Math Made Easy group. And after then, I started giving value, offering one-on-one services. And then fast forward to today, I've helped over 305 aspiring real estate agents become licensed, and they're crushing it in their markets. So yeah, it's working. All right. And Yvonne, did you want to come on and introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you for the invitation. So I am essentially, as our screen is showing, a mindset coach. I help people succeed in the game of life. And a lot of that comes down to combining travel with transformation. So after over 20 years in corporate and a lot of personal adventures traveling around the globe, I realized that the best thing in life is being able to shift from feeling like there's too much going on to being in control, and to make sure that if you're dealing with burnout, you do that through self care. And when we women take care of ourselves, we're able to take better care of the people that depend on us. So, really happy to be here tonight.
All right. Thank you for being here. Okay. Well, what we're going to learn today is the proven methods to gain a competitive advantage over others in the industry, why mastering the concepts in the math portion of the real estate exam is vital, and what needs to explode your confidence so you can successfully pass that exam and become licensed, go live the life of your dreams, and build well and help your buyers buy and your sellers sell and help your investors with their investment properties. Yes. Okay. The proven methods to gain a competitive advantage over others in the industry by knowing the area equals length times width and 1 acre equals 43,560 square feet. It gives you a competitive advantage over others in the industry because you'll know how to measure the house for your seller when you're ready to sell their house. And also knowing the net operating income, that is your appraised value of the property, times your cap rate. It'll help investors pick out their home or 1 to 4 unit apartment that can potentially become profitable for them. By you knowing that formula, you can help your investors with profitable income producing properties. And also, another proven method, if you know your discount points, you can help your buyers save on their interest on their house. And by saving on interest on the house, they can pay it off sooner. And by knowing your subject and comparable on the property, you'll be able to help your seller on what price their home to sell, so that when the buyer comes along, you'll be able to negotiate the price of the home. So yeah, those are proven methods. When you know the math, you'll be able to help your buyers, your sellers, and your investors. And why mastering the concepts in the math portion of the real estate exam is vital. Having a strong math skills are fundamental, and it'll help you pass your real estate exam. And plus, you'll use math every day in the real estate world, like you're paid as your commission, and you're going to use it to prorate your rent and well, the seller's buyer's rent and the buyer's taxes and insurance at the closing statement, at the closing and settlement statement. And also it'll help, you get to help your buyers with their property taxes, how to calculate them. And you'll help investors with their investment properties. So yeah, so knowing the mastering the math concepts on the real estate exam, it helps you become knowledgeable of all the all the things you'll need in order to help your buyers and your sellers. So yeah, it's very comes to be very helpful. And why you need what's needed to explode your confidence so you can successfully pass your exam is like that scripture in Proverbs says, Norman says, as a man thinketh in the heart, so is he. But most of my clients are female, so as a woman thinks in her heart, so is she. You have to think and believe that it's possible for you to pass your exam and the math portion of the real estate exam. It's okay. And also you gotta speak your affirmations that explode your confidence. Like, I am a great test taker. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I have the mind of Christ. My mind is blessed. My memory is sharp. So yeah, you got to have that confidence and know that you can go in there, conquer that test, and become a licensed agent. And that is all I have for today. Um, and Yvonne, can you come on and tell them your part of the program?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for having me join. You have some phenomenal people here that clearly know you know your stuff when it comes to real estate. Essentially, what happens is I am partnering with Miss Waukesha to help you all pass the exam. She helps with the foundations, the principles, the core, and making sure that you're able to learn the concepts and grasp everything to get you ready for that math portion. But where I step in is with the test itself. So if you're somebody who tends to get nervous when you're taking tests, go ahead and drop a 1 in the chat, because just curious to know, is that typically your reaction, or are you a super confident test taker and so you got this in the bag? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of 1s pop up, and don't worry, I'm not in the chat at the moment, but I can see it, but I'm a 1 too. The thing about tests is even when you know the material forward and backwards, like the back of your hand, there's something about a deadline and the pressure and the time and just sweating bullets over whether you're going to pass or not. So as a mindset coach and success strategist, what I do is build on the foundation that Waukesha's laid and help you get to that next level. So you go into the exam knowing that you've already passed it. And what's crucial in doing that is you have to start well before you take the test. So there are a series of tips and tricks and processes to get your mind and your heart and your body right. So you are not wasting your time, your energy, or your precious dollars when it comes to investing in this new career. So if you think that's something that would be helpful for you, go ahead and drop a 2 in the chat. And what we'd like to do is take a few minutes and give you some of those today as a thank you for showing up and showing out, so that as you start preparing to change your life and the lives of those who depend on you, you can be ahead of the curve. Now, one reason that Wakusha asked me to partner in doing this with her was I was honored and blessed to have an opportunity to help her when she was doing her exam because she mentioned she has a lot of test anxiety. And before I proceed and share some of those tips, Wakusha, if you could just share what difference it made for you to have that support backing you going into the exam. You told me a few things, but I think they're going to really appreciate it more coming from you. What was the effect on you?
Uh, the effect on me when we did our session was the meditation really helped, and the different tips like smelling chocolate before you go take your exam, and that really helped me
Yeah,
with the national portion of the real estate exam.
awesome.
I passed it with flying colors. So her tips really helped a whole lot with the anxiety,
Yeah, I
take
don't.
away the anxiety.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
thank you for that. And I think you told me something about how you felt going in, because typically you said you were super nervous, but what was different this time around?
This time around, I felt more confident that
Awesome.
I was gonna go, I was gonna crush it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, glad to hear it. And crush you did. So I don't know if there's any chocolate lovers in the house, but are you all aware that chocolate can help you with your memory? So the process is as you're studying, you want to go ahead and have chocolate is one of the go-tos because it's a very strong, memorable smell, but it works for other things too. So if you have a favorite fragrance, like a perfume or a cologne, that's an easy one too, because you can wear the same perfume into the exam that you've worn at your study sessions, and that will help trigger your memory. It enhances your memory. So
Mm-hmm.
if you know that there's certain pieces that you are struggling with or that are going to be a little bit more difficult, then you're kind of setting yourself up with your own personal cheat sheet when you prepare your memory with an enhancer. A fragrance like chocolate, perfume, even essential oils, if you like those. Lavender and peppermint are good ones. So those kinds of things can help you remember the things that you put so much work into in those study sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Another great tip is going to be journaling. And I know you're probably trying to figure out what does writing in a book, or if you don't like writing, if you like doing audio notes and voice journaling instead, what in the world would that have to do with a test? Well, what happens when you start making notes about how you feel and what you're thinking, you're going to start seeing patterns. Those patterns are like little building blocks that are going to hold up a mirror for you of something that might be causing your
Mm-hmm.
anxiety. So, to put it in layman's terms, you might be thinking you're nervous about the test, but you could have something else that's under the surface that's
Mm-hmm.
causing you some stress. And again, as women, we all are busy. We have a tremendous amount on our plates. So sometimes we don't even take a few moments to really look at ourselves and see what's going on beneath the surface. And you don't want to take that baggage in. There's any Erica Badu lovers here. Remember the Bag Lady song? You don't want to take that baggage in with you to the exam because you want to be light and free and focused. So I always encourage everyone to take time, at least 1 month before your exam, make a daily practice of journaling to start getting out some of those unresolved emotions or issues. So when you step in, you know exactly where your focus is. Now, I do see a question here. Someone asked about a color of pen that you can use. Um, Actually, yeah. If there is something that you think is going to draw something back to you, one common practice is red because it jumps out and it screams at you. So it might be something that would kind of cement some of the items into your memory. Another recommendation would be blue. Blue because it's calming. And again, you want to have peace as you roll up into this exam. Anything that's taking away from your peace, there's another thing that we do in a special offer that Wakusha is going to be sharing with you, where we work through the element of how do you counter things that are robbing your peace before you walk into the exam. And you're most welcome, Provision. So, yeah, I hope I didn't miss any other questions that popped up because I'm not seeing everything as it comes. But between the two of us, we're going to tackle them. So, we spoke about fragrance, spoke about the color of the pen, spoke about journaling, also identifying those blocks. So, although I'm going to encourage you, put them on the shelf. I know someone mentioned their deadline is in July. Put the blocks on the shelf for the sake of the exam. But remember, the exam is just the beginning. Once you've passed and now you have this career, you want to make sure that you're tackling anything that's trying to get in the way. And what happens is problems, they tend to act like you're a magnet. The harder you run and the deeper you hide, the more they intensify. And I got a little bit of bad news. They're going to find you. So the best thing you can do is as you start understanding that something is there, face it. Stop running. This is a message that I send to everyone. Stop running. Because when you can stand up for what you are believing in and what you're moving towards, and you stand against anything or anyone that's trying to get in your way, that's when you start seeing things that seem like big obstacles become smaller. And obviously, the test itself can be the thing that looks like an obstacle. So you have to start looking at it as your friend, not your enemy. So, can anyone drop reasons right now in the chat why taking this exam is going to change your life? What is it? Why is it so important to you? Why is it a priority for you to pass this real estate exam? What opportunity does it open up for you? And as you guys give that a few minutes, I'm going to jump over and make sure that I don't have a couple more tips to share with you. Yeah, the rest of these are going to be all about what you can do to actually, during the test, to increase your odds. But as we're waiting for some more observations, Waukesha, do I have your permission before we wrap to do a visualization with the group to help everyone tap into what they can do when they're feeling anxious?
Yes, you do. You have my
Okay, so
permission.
we'll definitely do that too. I think you ladies will
Mhm.
enjoy it. Okay, so I see Provision said, help my clients. Tiara said she set this goal years ago in an investment company my husband is starting. Wow, years. Let's lean into that for a minute. Not weeks, not months, but years, plural. So we want you to imagine, how does that feel if you fast forward to whenever you're taking your exam and now it's the day after and you've passed? How do you feel knowing that something that you were in the years of working towards has finally become your reality? And especially if this is something that you and your husband have partnered on, now you're looking at a legacy for your family. So that amazement, that excitement, that joy, that is your fuel to get you through the test. And I love that, Waukesha. 5.5 year journey, same thing, tapping into the energy, not wondering. So you see how different that is? You're not worrying and wondering and fretting and anxious. Instead, you are standing tall because you're 110% convinced this is done. There is no question mark. It's a period. It is confirmation. And Provision, when you said that you're going to help your clients, the beauty of what you're doing this for is it's not just you. So, ladies, really think about that. It's never just us. We are talking hundreds, possibly thousands of people whose lives you will impact because you might only know the woman standing in front of you. But how about the woman she goes on to help? And the woman she goes on to help? I always say it's like an ocean wave. When we're standing on an ocean shore and we see the tide come in, And that giant, beautiful wave crests up. We see one wave, but that one wave is made up of millions of droplets. So realize that everything you're doing, every decision you're making, that ripple effect, as Waukesha mentioned in the chat, that ripple effect all started because you made a decision. And you want to see that decision through to the end. So again, I think it's an appropriate time to give kudos to all of you for making the time to choose to invest, not just in your future, but in the futures of those that are going to rally around you and depend on you because you didn't give up. Okay, Provision says she's got a tax business, 9 years, and her clients asking they need homes. So you got the credit down pack, and now you're going to pass it. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And this will supplement all the good you've already done and just take it to a new level. So we can't wait to hear your success stories. We can't wait for you all to come back and let us know how beautifully things turned out, because it doesn't matter how long it took you to get there. What matters is that you do it. I always say it's not about the win, the WHEN, but the win, the WIN. So seeing things through to completion, and a lot of people think they beat themselves up. I see a lot of women do this where they think their emotional limitations, or I'm not strong enough, I'm not big enough. In fact, if you've ever thought along this line, drop what shows up for you when you feel like life is working against you. What is it that you don't feel enough of, that you wish you had more of? Because we're going to take a couple of minutes to dwell on that. And I want to give you guys that treasure, that gift of taking away from this moment that what you think is never the case. So, time, that is a big one. Hope, that's a big one too. We see time again. Let's talk about time really quick. Obviously, we all know there's 24 hours in a day. But have you noticed that some people somehow turn that 24 hours into 48? They seem to get so much done. The thing about money is all of us have different levels in our bank accounts. All of us experience different levels. Perhaps you've had a lot and sometimes you've had a little bit less. But the thing about money is once it's gone, you can get it back. You can make more. Time, on the other hand, is one of our most precious resources because once it's gone, you don't get that back. And we have Provision pointing out with a large family, always on the go, that 24 hours, I'm sure sometimes might feel like 2.4, right? But one thing that's going to be so vital is making sure that you have structure. And I know I'm just preaching to the choir here, but you want to squeeze as much as you can out of every second of every day, since not a day is given or promised. So when you have a plan, when you have a schedule, that puts you in front. It places you in the driver's seat because now you can look back and see what you accomplished because you already had it together before the day showed up. So I know you're probably thinking, yeah, easier said than done. What am I supposed to do when something else shows up instead? Don't beat yourself up. We are not perfectionists. We are all about the progress. So done is better than never tried. We will never get this perfect, but we can sure as heck, as Waukesha pointed out, give ourselves grace. And one thing I'm going to invite you all to do, ladies, is when you find yourself going to that dark place where you're judging yourself or beating yourself up, because we all do it from time to time, imagine that you're speaking to your best friend. Would you speak to her like that? Then don't you dare do it to you. Because All of us are God's children. He has blessed us with beautiful characteristics and qualities and talents that he wants us to use, not waste. And all negativity does is rob us of that. So the key here is how you think affects how you do. So, of course, Waukesha's role in making sure that you are vested and ready for this exam is vital. But remember, how you think and feel, how you move in your energy, all those things are going to have a vital influence on the outcome of your efforts in taking the exam. And you don't want to wait until the day before. Start now. Start shifting who you are, because it's about who you are, then what you do, and what you want will come to you. Anything you want is possible as long as you first believe that you can be the woman who deserves it. And so, as much as we spent on time, it's also where hope becomes powerful, because hope is only hope until you've gotten the thing. So instead of saying, I hope I pass, you're going to be saying, I am so grateful. I did everything I needed to. I crossed my T's, I dotted my I's, and now it is done. So what we're going to do is before we do that visualization, I'm going to give you a few tips of things that you want to do when you're in the exam. Let's imagine we've walked into the room, you're taking the test, you run into a situation where you're not quite sure. There's two big tips I want to give you about taking the exam itself. And this applies whether it's for real estate or any test arena that you're in. Number one, it's going to sound funny, but go with C. Oftentimes, C tends to be the right answer. So if you have absolutely no clue, the worst thing you can do is leave it blank. Answer every question, default to C. Statistically, it tends to be right. Not sure why the test developers do it that way. But if you have no clue, go with C. Another thing is, this is very, very important. Stick with your gut. Whatever you put as an answer first, do not change it. This is also reflected in our lives. We tend to second guess ourselves, right? So whether you start thinking, I'm not sure if I should wear that dress, or I'm not sure if I really love that guy, I'm not so sure I should go down that dark alley. Go with your gut, because we have two brains, the one in our head and the one in our tummy. Women especially are very instinctive. So when it comes to your test, something's going to trigger. It's going to be like a nanosecond of a flash of memory, and you're going to go for an answer, but then you're going to start saying, is that right? Make a promise to yourself now. Do not change it. Those two things alone are going to have a remarkable impact on your overall score. Okay, so I don't know if there's any other questions that Waukesha needs to tackle before we do the visualization.
I was gonna announce the program. There's only got
Yeah,
like
you go,
7 minutes left.
go ahead, you do that.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm rolling out the RE Math Masters 4-week group coaching program. It begins June 6th, ends June 27th. In this program, you'll learn everything from amortization, prorations, net operating income, commission, square footage, governmental survey, and subject and comparable. You'll be given affirmations, speak what you want to see on the exam and in life. You'll be given recordings and homework to practice, so you'll be ready to go into the exam center, ready to pass it with ease. And Yvonne, she'll come in and help you with the mindset part of it and the meditation and the tips and tricks. And the second weekend in July, we'll meet at a location to celebrate you passing your exam. And this program, it is $797 for the first 5 people. and $9.97 for everyone else. It's two payments of $5.97, and I'll send a link with the recording. That's all I have for today.
Awesome. And because I know you're tight on time, we're going to save that visualization for one of the sessions that we do with the members that come through to celebrate them. But one thing I just want to emphasize, ladies, is Waukesha, this was her brainchild. She came up with this brilliant idea to get people in the room together because that energy, when you get high achievers that are determined to change their lives together, it's contagious. And if you think you're excited now, it gets even bigger. It's a movement, right? And in our communities, this isn't even optional anymore. So we are happy to have you have all joined us. We're going to encourage you, if you know of anyone else that needs this information, share it out, pay it forward. And remember that when you don't take action, you are limiting not just yourself, but so many others that need to be lifted. So, you know how they say, if you're in an airplane and there's an emergency, put on your mask first, but then don't forget about the others you love. So instead of looking at the cost, I want you to think of what will it cost you if you stay where you are now. We had you all trust us with some secrets here, things that are years in the making, or your families are approaching double digit. You have a lot of work to be done. Don't put these things off any longer. Make today the day that you get with Waukesha, you start making the change because she is eager to help you reach your next chapter. I personally just want to thank you, ladies, for the opportunity to be in the room. And Waukesha, thank you for the invitation. You ladies have me crying over here. You all are beautiful. I can't wait to hear the great stories of what you produce. Thank you so much. And Waukesha, I think you might be muted because I see you.
I was saying I was putting a link in the chat, and I thank y'all so
Oh,
much for
awesome.
coming. And I'll send the recording to the email as long with the link to the program. But thank y'all for coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So glad y'all came. Uh-oh. All right. Y'all have any questions? No, no questions. Okay. All right. Well, y'all have a blessed rest of your evening.
You too.